first ever episode of Louder Than Hell that is both on audio and video. Welcome, Greg. It's good to see you.
Woo. Yeah, man, it's good to be here. It's good to finally see your face. You know, I'm loving the vest and that shirt. By the way, I love how we're both wearing some cool metal rock shirts for tonight.
I show up in a Hollister polo, buddy. Not to this podcast.
No, that's next week. That's once I get comfortable.
Yeah, that's frat week.
Yeah, or when we have listeners to lose. Like I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, man. How was
Right.
your weekend though? What's going on?
Good, man. I spent a good chunk of the weekend in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, seeing some friends. But like always, went to visit a friend in Fort Worth. And she's like, "Oh, what do you want to do?" It was a very last minute kind of thing. And I was like, "Well, I haven't really been to Fort Worth before or in a long time." And I said, "I always like to check out like a record store real quick, if that's cool with you." She's like, "Sure." I know of one
Great
like
idea.
on this street. So it was called Panther City Vinyl. And dude, let me tell you,
Wait, say that name one more time.
Panther City Vinyl.
Panther City Vinyl. That sounds badass.
It is. There's a cool little store, very small, but like for as small as it was, the selection looked limited at first, but it was packed with goodies. And this being our first show on video, I can actually show them to you. So,
Oh, perfect.
yeah, so found some Judas Priest used vinyl, very cheap. This is only like $8
Very
in
cool.
class. We got another Judas Priest Turbo Lover. Boom.
Wow.
So that was surprisingly the two Judas Priest records he had were the two that I don't have in my collection. Because after this, there's not much Judas Priest left for me to get. Which is exciting. I got a White Stripes vinyl I don't have with me. But Greg, they had an album I've been searching for 2 years. And I've never been able to find it in person.
2 whole years.
And that's Ace by Bob Weir. This is like the solo record he put out in the early 70s.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
I mean, all the songs in these albums are also, all of them are songs that the Grateful Dead, he plays regularly with the Grateful Dead. So like Greatest Story Ever Told's on here, Playing in the Band is on here, Looks Like Rain is on here, One More Saturday Night, and one of my favorite all-time songs, Cassidy.
Okay.
So yeah,
And
this was like
they play
Holy
those live
Grail
a lot,
instant
right?
buy. What'd you say?
They play those live a lot with like Dead and Company, right?
Oh yeah, Dead and Company, The Grateful Dead, when Bob Weir goes solo, like these are all like stapled tunes of his.
Man, that's badass. Good find, man. Panther City Vinyl out in Dallas.
Fort Worth, Texas. So shout out to them
Oh,
for
Fort Worth.
having this.
Sorry. Man.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. Speaking of vinyls, that's great transition to what I wanted to talk to you about next. And it's a band that you're very familiar with that you introduced me to actually called Volbeat. They're
Yes.
they're coming out with a 15th anniversary vinyl for their first album. What was it? The Strength, the Sound, and the Songs.
Yes.
Right. And I think it's kind of your fault that I'm getting kind of more into like collecting vinyls and stuff because you made me buy one on a freaking Swedish website. Now here I am looking at this band. Isn't Volbeat from Denmark?
Yes, I believe
It's,
so.
it's another
They're Danish,
European
so
rock band that's really badass that you're going to get me to buy from some obscure website again because this vinyl, get this, man, it's got a really cool marble print, sort of like how what's that vinyl that Metallica recently redid?
For I know they've been redoing it, but my copy of Metallica S&M2 is like very marbled, and it kind of looks like the wood of a violin.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. So you get the pattern that I'm talking about. Yeah, the very
Absolutely.
marbled, cool look. I know there's another one. I didn't read about it. I read more into the marble print, and Volbeat's one of those bands that I kind of want to get more into. I feel like that'd be a cool vinyl to have in my collection, especially their
Dude,
first album.
Yeah, I don't have any Volbeat in my collection on vinyl, but their last album, oh god, dude, all their albums are like 3 to 4 words, and they're just like random words phrased together, and I can never like remember them.
Is it rewind, replay, repeat, or something like that?
That's it. And then the other one's like Guitar Gangsters and Cadillac Blood. Like that's another great one. That's the album Not the, no, that's not the album that I got into from. Oh, Beyond Hell, Above Heaven. That's the album. That was like my intro into the band.
Okay, yeah. Your my real introduction was when we saw them live. They opened up. Uh, well, what was that? 2019.
Yeah, Not Fest.
The Not
Open up
Fest.
for
Yep.
Slipknot.
Gosh, yeah, that was amazing. So, I'm definitely gonna keep my eyes out for this vinyl. But thank you for reminding me about that. Talking about your vinyls from Panther City. That's such a badass name. I
Yeah, yeah, it was a
like
sick
that.
store. I got some like free stickers with our logo and stuff, but I don't have it in reaching distance.
Nice.
Yeah, dude. Before we get any further, I just forgot. I mean, we're recording this on in what is my eyes a national holiday, and that is January 26th, and it's Eddie Van Halen's birthday. Uh, if you've listened to the podcast for any amount of time, you know how much of an impact this man has had on my life. So happy birthday, King Edward. We miss you.
Man,
What's
that's
crazy?
crazy.
Yeah, what's crazy about this week in general is the 28th is my this year January 28th will be my 13th anniversary of seeing Van Halen live for the first. And that was my first show, and that's why you and I are talking about rock and roll right now, 13 years later. All because a 12-year-old kid walked into a Van Halen concert.
What kind of butterfly effect?
Wild, yeah.
Wild, man. Yeah, that's the only word to describe it. Wild. Maybe loud. Maybe louder than hell. Maybe. I don't know.
Dude, I don't. It's just weird. It's just like one of those memories is that it just so vivid. Like I can remember it was a Monday. I remember where we parked at Toyota Center. I still park in that parking lot whenever I'm in Houston at a show. Like I remember the section we were in. I remember that like atmosphere. I remember like what it smelled like. I don't like it. Just weird how vivid. I remember what David Lee Roth was wearing. Uh,
Smell is one of those strongest, like memory trigger, like really like receptors to triggers memories.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's your olfactory system. Yep, crazy stuff. But yeah,
Scientific
dude,
fact of the
happy
day of
birthday,
Craig.
Eddie. Gosh, yeah, Eddie and Connor's olfactory system. Today. Ah, man, what did you listen to him at all today?
Van Halen.
Yeah,
I don't think I did. I didn't listen to much music today.
I listened to Diver Down
Okay.
today. Secrets, one of my favorite songs on there.
That's a sleeper song. That is a deep track,
I,
Greg.
I've mentioned it once before on the show, a long time ago, but yes,
Yeah.
once again, it's got to be brought up.
I listened to Van Halen about like pretty for a good length of time about 2 weeks ago. When I had to go pick up Whitney, my family's dog.
Oh,
She was in Austin, yeah, and I had to go
14
pick
out
her
of
up
10.
from
Good girl.
yeah, her yeah, from her kennel. And it was just like a beautiful, awesome morning, and the sun was out, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, this is I call it Van Halen weather. When you're driving and it's just a good day, and you're going through
Yes,
the
sir.
hills.
Yes,
So it
sir.
was just like I just put on a shuffle of like all like my favorite. Like On Fire has been the song off Van Halen 1 that I've been listening to a lot lately. Just of how
Okay.
just hardcore and heavy that song is.
Talk about sleeper songs, man.
Dude, that was
On
the song they
fire,
used to open
really
up
though.
with on their first tour. So like that to a lot of people, that technically that song was their intro into Van Halen because they'd never heard of them. They were just opening up for Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
So I just can't like putting yourself in the shoes of like you're our age in 1978, and these like 5'8" dudes from California come out on stage and just start playing that song.
They just revolutionized music forever after that. And you didn't even know what to do with yourself.
Yeah, I think it's one of the only songs off Van Halen 1 I've never tried to like really sat down and try to play on guitar. So I think that's coming up in the future probably.
Hey, I like the goals here. Dude, you talked about Van Halen weather and like beautiful days. Today was one of those for me. But I had a
Yeah.
little different taste for that today. I was like, you know what? I want to dip back into my resolution bands, and uh, I was like, you know what? I picked five, but I've been really feeling the Sepultura vein that we've been getting into.
Mm-hmm.
So I dove, Connor. I dove. Yeah, I went into the album before the one that you and I listened to at the end of the year, called "Beneath the Remains."
Gotcha.
And dude, I'm gonna tell you, it's crazy. It's just the riffs are delicious. That's the best way to
Delicious.
describe it. Delicious. Inner Self is one of the best songs on there, and Lobotomy and Hungry, and of course, Mass Hypnosis is like one of the biggest songs on the album. But I was like, you know what? This sounds like way different from like Chaos AD and like their later stuff that I have recommended like before, like Machine Messiah and like um, I
Quadra.
also follow their frontman Derek Green on Instagram,
Okay.
and I've watched a couple of his videos. He sounds way different from the vocals from the albums that we've listened to from their earlier stuff. So I had to look into that, Connor. This is this is kind of tragic, like the
Oh
story
shit.
of
Okay. I was about to
Sepultura.
make a joke. Okay, I'm glad I did.
so Sepultura was started by it's similar beginnings to like Van Halen, two brothers and two other dudes, maybe three other dudes, but Igor and Max Cavalera. Igor's the drummer. Max was the frontman, like the singer and rhythm guitarist sometimes. But they were like the backbone of the band, and I forgive me for not knowing the other three names, but they they had a huge like upbringing or like early career, with like their first two albums, Morbid Visions and Schizophrenia. Definitely need to get more into those. I haven't, but that's like what really brought them up. And then like Beneath the Remains, and then Arise, and then Chaos ID made them one of those like if you're a metal fan back in the early '90s, you knew Sepultura. Like that was one of those bands, like
Right.
that's like how you and me, like we know Lucifer, we know Ghost, we know Power Trip. Like that's one of those bands back then. Like you had to know the name. So, right around the time that they made Roots, though, like according to this story that I read online, like once I started like looking more into this, the frontman Max Cavalera, there, according to like this story, his wife was their manager, and like once they started getting bigger and bigger, like the band started noticing that like it was more about Max, and like it was just like Max and his band, you
The
know.
old John Lennon Oko Ono situation.
So, dude, yeah, and then like they had like a big interview, and Max had just had a baby, and instead of having the band on the print, like on the cover, it was him and his baby. So the band was like, after this tour, we're like after the contract's up, we're just gonna like cut ties with the manager. And then like Max was like, you can't do that to my wife. Like I'm doing some very heavy paraphrasing, very heavy summarizing. If you really want to know the details, go look it up for yourselves, y'all. But this is just like the gist of like from what I read. Like after Roots, the band was just like totally different. Sepultura like didn't even know if they were going to continue under that name. 9 months after the tour that they broke up on in like 1996 or 1997, they found Derek Green, who is their current frontman, and they picked up with Sepultura again, and Max was like super hurt about it. Fast forward, Igor has a kid, and because of um, Dimebag Darrell's like untimely death with his performance in Ohio in 1994, Igor wanted
2004.
to. 2004, I did it again, dude. I did it again. Sorry, 2004. Igor and Max wanted to make amends because they saw what that did with Daryl and his family. So, like, well, the bandmates, like his family,
Yeah, yeah.
So they wanted to make amends. Igor left the band. I don't know who the new drummer is now. I don't have a current update on the band member list, but that is such a sad story. Like for a band, like as a vessel to have one to the two essential members that are brothers, one leave, and then it's just like not totally complete, and then you have this one leave too, so it's like still the band, but half the original members.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, it's just the nature of the beast in the music industry, though. You know, like every
Yeah,
band.
that's a great point, man. That's a
I
great.
mean, think about like all the bands we talk about and listen to on the show. I think the two I can think of off the top of my head that still have the core members, like all of them, no replacements, would be Aerosmith and Motley Crue.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh man, I saw an update. Apparently, the new frontman for Journey, they found from a tribute band in Japan.
Yeah.
What on earth?
Wait, hold on. Wait, time out. What about the guy that was like Philip from the Philippines? Is he not in the band
Um,
anymore?
I was it the Philippines?
Well, yeah, they discovered like 10 years ago. They discovered their singer like longer than 10 years ago. They discovered their singer in the Philippines off of
Yeah,
YouTube
it was
doing
like
Journey covers.
15 years ago. It was a YouTube. I thought it was like a singing contest, or he was just like famous, like locally, and then they found
Dude
him.
was just putting videos up on YouTube, and someone who knew Journey saw it. Like it was essentially, I don't know if you've seen the movie Rockstar for Mark Wahlberg. It was essentially that plot.
I haven't seen that movie, but damn, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Well, the movie is based off the story of Tim Ripper Owens loosely, because they don't use it. But anyway, the guy that replaced Rob Halford and Judas Priest for a little bit,
Okay.
that they turned that story because Tim Ripper Owens sung in a Judas Priest cover band, and then next thing you know, he's the front man of Judas Priest. So they made a Mark Wahlberg movie about it.
That's cool.
It's a
I like
so-so movie. Yeah,
Oh, it's so so? Okay.
it's definitely like it's like early 2000s, and it's like parodying the 80s. So like it's definitely a corny movie, but it's got some good actors in it.
Okay.
Zach Wilde's in it. He plays a small role. So like I don't know. It is what it is. It's just like a good C plus movie for me, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotcha. Well, I
Like
got you.
I don't want to say like don't watch it, but don't expect too much of it because it's
Right. Yeah, I'm not gonna blame you if I watch it and I'm upset. I'm not gonna be like,
yeah,
"Damn, Connor, why'd you make me
yeah.
waste
If you
my
hate it halfway through, just put on the dirt again.
time?" Yay, good substitute. Good substitute there. Hey,
Yeah, hell
speaking of like putting things on, um, at work I put on Sirius XM radio a lot, like in the cars that I drive around because I do like marketing, photography, and stuff. But um, I heard an ad on one of the Sirius XM stations that the Foo Fighters were going to be getting their own channel, and I was like, no, you got to be kidding me. So I had to look this up, and it's true.
yeah. It is true.
Yeah, do you
Um,
know anything about
and I
this?
actually know this. I have XM and I listen to XM a lot. I get it advertised, but I wrote it down. It starts on February 3rd,
Okay,
uh, runs until April 4th. So that's about, excuse me, 2 months of music, and it's on channel 105.
105. Okay, and so from what I heard, they're going to be doing like a track by track breakdown of their newest album. Was it Minutes at Midnight or Minutes to Midnight
Yeah, minutes to midnight.
or Medicine at Midnight?
It's minutes to midnight.
Minutes. Okay. Yep. There I go again.
Dude, I feel it, dude. Like since doing this podcast, I have had to force myself to like listen to a lot more music just because that's, you want to discover more music to talk about new music.
That's
And
true.
I've noticed bands that we listen to, I'll listen to intently, but like I'm always on to the next thing. So I don't stick with music as much, like in one location. And so now I have a much harder time recalling names versus
Oh yeah.
like, you know, I could name off every Van Halen album off the top of my head because I've listened to them for 13 years, but when you're just starting out, you're only starting out with so like small bands and yeah. But yeah, so
Well,
I'm like writing stuff down now.
yeah, I need to start writing stuff down too. And it's not like we're dipping our toes or anything. Like I told you earlier, like I dive. So
Dude, I added over 500 liked songs to my Spotify in 2020, and it was like only like that was like I don't just like hit like on a song unless someone tell like if I'm drinking, someone tells me to look up the song later. I'll just do that because it'll be
yeah,
right at the top. And if I don't like it, I'll unlike it right away. So like you got to still be like the cream of the crop off an album for me to get in my like songs.
okay,
And
I
yeah,
got
it's
you.
just now it's just like oh like I'll see like oh there I was in a like there's a small Grateful Dead phase again. Okay, there's all the Sepultura. All right, like yeah, it's been a crazy year. We've been doing this podcast almost a year, and it's just crazy the amount of music I know about now that I don't think I would have listened to if we didn't do this podcast.
You're 100% right, man. Like this podcast has like really forced me to expand my horizons, really, and just like I guess like calibrate the radar, like my listening radar, to more things that are coming out, like or things back like that came out already that have anniversaries that have come up. I'm like, oh, I never would have listened to this if I didn't see that, or like you know, it's been a really great like eye opening experience, but I am gonna have trouble remembering a lot of the names a lot of the time. Well, some of the names a lot of the time because a lot of them will stick. Don't you worry. Like like frontman names, certain frontman names, like catchy ones, like Papa Emeritus the Fourth, for example. You know, that's that's kind of hard to forget. Yeah, man, he made a public appearance.
Except like I mean, it's the same singer. Like the only thing that changes is the Roman numeral next to his name. Like it's not that you know.
True, yeah, true. But I mean, it's kind of a big deal whenever like a band like that you don't hear from very much, like as far as like publicity goes until like their first like news blip in years or months. Really, is a whole performance from their frontman.
Right.
Dude, did you like get
Yes.
a chance to listen to it?
Papa Immortus. Of course I did. Being the mega Ghost fan that I am. Yeah, I don't know if you could see also on my vest here. I've got my Nameless Ghoul lapel. It's like the newest feature.
Oh yeah, I was wondering what that was. I can't quite tell from where the camera's positioned. I was gonna say from where I'm sitting, but
Okay.
it's not like we're like this far away from each other.
Yeah, right. It feels that way though. It feels very intimate.
Couple hundred
But
miles.
yeah, no, he was like on some Swedish show. He covered Sympathy for the Devil with a band called The Helicopters.
Yeah.
And while I was watching this, Greg, I was like, wait a second, that band, one of those guys looks really freaking familiar. Where do I know him from? And sure enough, it was Nick Anderson from the rock band Lucifer that we tout and shout about all the time on this podcast.
Hell yeah.
So it makes sense. Swedish band hanging out with another Swedish rock star. Dude, speaking of Lucifer, if you go on their Instagram now, it'll say Lucifer 4 coming Halloween 2021.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna do that like right now. Hang on a sec.
Yeah.
Lucifer 4 coming Halloween 2021. You're kidding.
Yeah,
Okay.
dude. They haven't missed yet. They off their 3 albums, so I'm really excited. Especially a band that dabbles in like such kind of dark material, what they could have wrote during the pandemic and everything. So I'm a little
Well,
excited.
okay, so out of all the bands that have like kept writing throughout the pandemic, like with Lucifer just releasing an album, they're like it gives them a perfect opportunity. Like, okay, we just put that one out, but we're not gonna be able to tour. Might as well just like stay in that like creative vein and like keep going, you know?
Yeah, I mean, apparently Ozzy's already like writing another album to follow up Straight to Hell, which good for him. Get all the
Oh,
music he can out of
nice.
him. We will Sharon's just squeezing Ozzy dry while she can.
Oh man, yeah. He got COVID, right? He recovered from COVID, and Sharon was like, "Oh, thank God, you can keep putting albums out."
Dude,
But
dude,
that,
you think fucking COVID's killing Ozzy Osbourne? Dude,
no way.
there's not a drug or disease on the planet that could kill that man. All right,
No, like
that
even
dude has
with
Parkinson's and he still fucking sings his nuts off. All right.
man, I saw something on his Instagram that was like the anniversary for him biting off the head of a bat on tour, and it was like a plush doll
Yeah,
with
and
a
he's selling a
magnet.
selling a headless bat. That's
That was
capitalism, baby. That's what I'm
hilarious.
talking about.
Dude, okay, speaking of capitalism, I don't know if you are annoyed by this not or yet, but
Oh God,
I
Comrade Greg, here he comes.
no, no, it's the Bernie memes with him sitting with like his stupid mitts, and I don't know about you, but I'm
Oh
kind
yes,
of sick of them. But what I enjoyed the most out of that
they're
whole,
funny for a day or two.
yeah,
Like I shared a picture of Bernie chilling with an old picture of David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen at McDonald's. There's one where he's sitting on the throne on that Death album. I think it's like Scream Bloody Gore. No, that's a song. What's that Death album called? Hold on.
I like the one that has him sitting in the background in Rust in Peace, like with the scientists or like the government people. I like that one. I like it where he's like kind of subtle, not like in the front, like a photo
Yeah,
bomb
no, no,
almost.
Scream Bloody Gore. I got that right. Scream Bloody Gore. That album by Death. He's sitting on the throne. That one I thought was fucking funny. Um,
Dude.
but yeah, where hasn't he been?
Yeah, I like those, but I'm kind of sick of them now. But I was just like, oh god, I gotta bring those up. I gotta get it out of my system. You know, I saw those and like the meme guy in me, it was just like, oh, I love this so much. And then 12 hours later, I got back on social media and I thought, oh crap, this is still going on. But when I saw him put
I
on
don't
Metal
think a
Album,
meme's ever just taken off and then just died at the same time. Like you're getting bullied online if you're posting a fucking Bernie meme still. Like unless it's like a new take on it.
right. But okay, so you mentioned capitalism. I wanted to mention this. I saw that someone had like Bernie had like put like that whole like picture of him on a sweatshirt and was selling that. And I was like, wow, way to capitalize on your own meme, dude. It's pretty great.
Yeah, well, he's that all that's going to charity, I believe. So I
Oh,
don't want to.
nice. Okay, well, so it's like half capitalism, right? Maybe.
Yeah, no, that's good capitalism, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, dude, what else happened this week? Is that basically everything we got on the run sheet this week? Yeah, Foo Fighters. Happy birthday, Eddie Van Halen. Yeah, it's the Ghost Volbeat. Um, I have an album recommendation. We can get out of here.
Do you have a
Do you have a
recommendation this
recommendation?
week? All right.
I
Cool.
do. To be fair, I didn't listen to this album, but today, but
Okay.
I just randomly remembered an old band that I saw open up for AC/DC way back on the Black Ice tour in 2008. I
Wow.
thought I was seeing
Way
fucking
back 12 years, man.
Led
No,
Zeppelin
13.
reincarnated. So like we talk about like Greta Van Fleet being like, you know, Led Zeppelin reincarnated or whatever. This band called The Answer. They're from Ireland, if I remember correctly.
The answer.
Yes.
Okay.
They had their first album that was released in America came out in 2013. For some reason I remember it being older than that. But anyway, it's called Everyday Demons. It's got some great tunes on this, like fun songs on this album. Opening track Demon Eyes is like the perfect like starting position. Too Far Gone, On and On, Walking Matt, Dead of the Night, Comfort Zone, just all these just
Okay.
great tunes. Yeah, I don't, man, nothing ever really became of them too much, but they've released more records. Like they had another record called New Horizon, Raise a Little Hell. That sounds fun. And Solas was their last album in 2016. And I never actually went on to listen to these albums, so I might have some more to talk about with them next year. But
Okay.
oh, I will say my other favorite song by them is off their 2006 album. It's the very first track on the very first album. It's called Under the Sky. It's just like got a bitchin' guitar riff that is more common with rock music now, but like that style in the mid 2000s just so lost. because it was just all like, pop punk, like punk rock chords.
The
That
emo wave.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
I
they were slept
gotcha.
on. I think, man, I feel like they were like just before that like classic, like that revivalist reunion we've been having of rock and roll in the last couple years. So uh,
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll catch on to it in this decade, and then they'll ride that wave with it. Hopefully.
crazier things have happened, dude.
That's so true, man. I like that recommendation of The Answer. What's the name of the album?
Yes. Everyday Demons.
The Answer with Everyday Demons. Okay, before I give my recommendation, I do want to make sure that our listeners will go out and follow us on our social medias at louder than hell underscore pod on Instagram. And then on Twitter, we're at LTH underscore pod or podcast. I think it's just pod. But yeah, we're starting to get more and more active on our social medias. Y'all should too. Uh, but yeah, my recommendation for the week is this straight up, like there is no denying it. Looking at the album cover and then hearing the first song on the album is just straight up stoner metal. All right, but the riffs
Oh,
are just like you want more of them. Okay, and it's a band called Red Desert.
okay.
All right, Red Desert. That's their only album. It came out in 2012, and the album's called Damned by Fate. And the first song on the album, Older No Wiser, super awesome. This is an album that I would picture myself driving to, like driving in the desert in a convertible with. Like that's this album for me. All right.
Okay.
So Older No Wiser, Slow Kill's good. 2012 is another good song. I really really like 2012, and the one of my favorite songs on it is Devil's Curse, which is the last song on the album. But sadly enough, this is their only album that they've ever put out, or that's out on Spotify at least, to my knowledge. I have not done any more research on this band, so I can't tell you anything more about them other than this album, but you should check it out.
It's so, dude, this is like the second week in a row you just found this really random band, but it's really good. Like, what was the band you recommended last week? Like Sea Savage or something?
Last week, Gamma Bomb.
Gamma Bomb. That was the album, Sea Savage. Okay.
Uh, yeah,
I
I
didn't
think the
listen to a
album.
lot of it. That song, Miami Super Cops, I
I
thought it
know.
was a Megadeth song I'd never heard before. Like the
Yeah, I
guitar, like
know.
just a guitar riff, like vocals, different story. But I was shocked. I was just like, wait a second, like, okay, it has like the heavy chorus, but like it has like the lighter leading harmonies above on top of the riff. And I was like, whoa. Like
Yeah,
they
it's
really
very
went for like that
technical.
very like signature, like Mustaine Megadeth style sound. So
Right.
I was like not like, oh, this riff kind of sounds like Megadeth. Like what? Like I don't know if that was on purpose or, but like as far as like that was like you want to pay tribute to Megadeth, that was a fucking like
It was pretty
I don't
spot
like
on. Yeah,
yeah, that was
they
like
did.
great. Like I was shocked. Like it got the tone of everything. I was just like, Jesus, Dave Mustaine playing guitar. Like I thought it sounds like Dave Mustaine himself's playing guitar. It was
Hey,
amazing.
maybe they had a producer that maybe was like involved with both bands at one point. But yeah, dude, Gamma Bomb was really good. This band, Red Desert, is really good. I'm hoping to get more music and more content out of Gamma Bomb though, because Sea Savage is more recent. That came out in 2020. Um,
Okay.
that looks like, but that's not their first album though. They've been around since
No,
like
I'm looking at all their stuff. Their album before that came out in 2018 called Speed Between the Lines, and it
gotcha.
looks like a fun like the cover like gives me like really 80s vibes, and then like some of the songs on
Is that the
here
one with the
like give me
robot?
80s vibes. Yeah, or whatever, like a Running Man on it, and it says like songs are like "Give Me Leather," 6616, you know, Motorgeist. That's like dude, these songs sound fun. Kurt Russell. Like how more 80s could this like album be a tribute to?
Maybe that was their inspiration for it. Maybe they got some inspiration from like that very early Sepultura.
Yeah,
But
Sepultura. Yeah. All right,
Sepultura, yeah, man. But my
dude. I
recommendation
think
was Red
that's
Desert.
yeah. There we go. All right, dude. I think that's gonna wrap it up for us this week.
That was great, man. This great episode. I love this.
Fun, man. All right. Well, everyone, if you're listening to this podcast, check us out on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, thanks for hanging around. Oh yeah, I got to do the fucking plugs for YouTube. Subscribe, turn on the notifications,
Give us a
leave a
like.
comment about anything you want us to talk about in the future. Hit a thumbs up on the video, and we'll see you guys next week.